Hi there, and welcome back to the next video in the series Coding Basics with Scratch. My name is James Caldwell from Faith Christian School of Distance Education here in Queensland. In the last video, I promised you that in this video we would be creating polygon patterns in Scratch. So, open Scratch and follow along with the lesson. There is a little bit of maths involved in today's lesson, but don't worry, I'm going to show you that as we go along. Also, a real key about this lesson today is that whatever you learn and whatever I do on the screen, I want you to go away afterwards and have a good old play around and see what you come up with. There are two things I'd like to do before we can start drawing patterns. The first one is to come down and we're going to click on the bin on the cat sprite and we're going to get rid of the cat. I find the cat's not that great at drawing patterns. We're going to come down and choose a sprite, and click on that, and I like to use the star sprite. Come down alphabetical order. There it is, click on that. The next thing I'd like us to do is to come down to the bottom left corner. You'll see where it says add extension. I'd like to click on that. And where it says pen, we're going to need our pen extension. So you click on that. And what you'll notice is you have a whole bunch of new blocks that you can use to draw. Let's get right into the coding. I'm going to go to Events, and I'm going to choose when space key pressed. Next, I'm going to come down to my pens, and I'm going to choose the first block under the pen options. This is Erase All. What this means is if there are any drawings on my stage that I did before, the first thing that will happen when I press the space key is those drawings will disappear. I'm then going to take pen down. Another thing I'd like my star to do is to go to the middle of the screen. So I'm going to go up to Motion. I'm going to go to XY block. And I'm going to change those numbers to 0 and 0. With this done, we're now ready to get into creating our polygon pattern. A regular polygon is a 2D shape with equal length sides and equal angles at each corner, or vertices. The most common kind of polygon is the square, so that's what we're going to start with. And I'm going to start by drawing one side of the square. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab a move block. Now I'm just going to build it down here. I'm not going to attach it quite yet. First up, I'm going to get my star to move 100 steps. Once the square's moved 100 steps to do one side of the square, we want it to turn before it does the next side. And that turn is going to be 90 degrees. So I'm going to come up and grab a turn 15 degrees. And I'm going to change that to 90. This is one side and one corner of a square. As we all know, a square has 4 corners or 4 vertices. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to grab a control and I'm going to grab a repeat, and I am going to put this one on the bottom of my code, but instead of keeping the 10, I'm going to change this to a 4. This is where the maths comes into it. 360 is the magic number today when we're doing our polygon patterns. 360 divided by 4 equals 90. So if I know how many sides or corners on my polygon, I will know how many degrees each turn in that polygon will be. 360 divided by 4 is 90 degrees. So now I can move one side of my square, and what you'll notice is one side repeated 4 times. Let's see what that does. Wonderful, we made our first square. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's make a hexagon. I'm going to pull apart my square. We know a hexagon has 6 sides. 360 divided by 6 is 60. So it will be 60 degrees. I'm going to pop one side of my hexagon into my repeat. So one side repeated 6 times. And what I'm going to do is just reduce the size of the steps as well. And press space, and we have a hexagon. All right, let's make an octagon. I'll pull apart my hexagon. I know an octagon has 8 sides. 360 divided by 8 is 45. Going to put my side of an octagon into my repeat 8. Turn it on. Let's see what happens. Great, it drew an octagon. It's a little bit off my stage because one side is too long. So I'm going to make that 60. Let's see what happens. Beautiful octagon. At the end of this video, I'll show you a chart so that you don't have to do the maths. You can just put the numbers and the angles in for any polygon right up to a dodecagon, which is a 12-sided polygon. Now, I've got my octagon here, one side of an octagon, and I have it repeated 8 times. What if I completed one octagon and I turned a little bit? I'm going to take out a turn 15 degrees, and I'm going to change that to 36. I'll tell you why I change it to 36 in a moment. With this in mind, we're going to draw a complete octagon, and at the end of the octagon, we're going to turn 36 degrees. I am going to repeat this 10 times. So I come up to Control, repeat 10 times. What you'll notice is 360 divided by 10 is 36. So again, I'm getting that magic number 360 divided by the number of repeats will be the degrees of turn at the end of my shape. So I'm going to put it all into the repeat 10, and let's watch what happens. Wow, that's beautiful, our first pattern. Let's change this up a little bit. I'm going to take out my octagon. We draw our octagon, then we turn 360 degrees. After every octagon, I want it to change color a little bit. So I come over to my pen, and it says here, the 6th block down, change pen color by 10. I take that, put it on the bottom. I'm going to repeat my octagon 10 times, 360 degree turn after each octagon, and a pen change color of 10 after each octagon. Let's look what happens. Oh, wow. I'm now going to show you what we can do if we had 2 stars drawing a pattern. I'm going to come down to my star sprite, and I'm going to duplicate. Making sure I am on sprite 2, I'm going to change this octagon to a decagon. So I'm going to pull the octagon apart, and I'm going to say, well, I know a decagon has 10 sides, and 360 divided by 10 is 36. I know that from before. I've now created my decagon. I'm now going to change up how many times it repeats and the degree. So let's say we go 20. 360 divided by 20 is 18. So my turn at the end of each decagon will be 18. I pop that on there. Pop that in there. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to make my steps 50. Let's see what we got. I'm going to duplicate my star again. I think what I'll do is I'm going to just have a normal square. So I'll do 360 divided by 4 is 90. I'm going to repeat my square. Let's see, I might repeat my square 40 times. And that will be 9 degrees. And I'm going to take out the pen color, but I'm going to make sure right at the start my pen is set to this lovely pink color. Pop that in there. Press space, let's see what we got. That's really pretty as well. I'm totally happy with that. Well, I'm pretty sure that that's enough to get you started with your polygon patterns in Scratch. As I said before, I want you to play around with that and see what you can come up with. As promised, here is the chart with all the different polygons and the angles on it. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how you can control a sprite using your arrow keys on your keyboard, a bit like the Pac-Man game. Until then, have a great day and happy coding.